Right, so let's start with documenting our application. And for this, I would be using Obsidian. It's an application you could install on your Mac, and it helps. I usually use this for documenting stuff. It has this markdown editor, so it makes things easy if you're working with Git and all, and you could just edit your readmes here or change logs or something like that. So let's just start by creating a new note, and let's name this documenting the making of social media application. So the thing with this is that you don't really need to follow along with the same application, but I would highly suggest if you could actually follow along in terms of making this document or redoing it with some other kind of application that you would be making, and it's sort of a big app, so you just need to lay out the whole plan before going towards the development purpose. So let's just start with like pointers. So I think there's authentication inside the app, obviously. Now what else would be there? So there would be user profile creation, and inside user profile creation we would like, let's go with a tab, and what all we would ask the user. So we would ask for a username, we would ask for an email, we would ask for their password, and this this we will not save in Firebase. We would only save the username and email for our database user. This is just the authentication purpose. So I think later on we should add the feature to have a profile pic, either show a placeholder for it, like in terms of Instagram or Facebook does it if you don't have a profile image. So let's just go with these three things for now. And how about I give it one more pointer, and we should have users should have the ability to follow each other. Yeah, obviously. What else should be there? So thinking about how we can create that follow functionality. So in order for following followers to work, we would need to have sub collections within our database users. So basically stating that each user has a sub collection of followers and a sub collection of following, and inside those sub collections we would have an array of users depending on how many people are following that specific user, or like if it's empty or something. So what will that include? That will include the whole database user structure. So basically, whatever database user we will create after authentication, we would store that entire structure inside the follower and following. When someone follows a person and does, we would be able to fetch their details, because it's not just about showing their profile image and the username, but it's more like if you go to their profile from the explore page, then you would land to their user profile page, and then you would need to show their post, and posts must be linked to the user through their user IDs. So that's why we need the whole user struct stored somewhere. That would make things easier for us. So we could also have the date followed or something, some property in case we need it for sorting purposes, like if people want to see whom I followed first. And that's mostly like an improvement on an already existing feature. But we will come to it. We'll think about it that if we want to include this in our version 1 of the application, and you should think the same way for your application. So if you are thinking to release an MVP at a early stage for like, like 2 3 weeks of development, and then you want to release an MVP, then obviously you could easily just skip these minor things and then just release the app and then later on work on these things, and totally up to you though. So coming to the other things, so users will have the ability to create posts. Yep, obviously it's a social media application and we are thinking of allowing people to make posts. So what all will the post thing include? So post will be sub collections inside users. Yes. And what else should be there? So again something, so it should have a post ID. Yes, it should have an owner ID. It should have image URL for the main image. It should have playlist URL in case they want to share their playlist links, and you can cross this out. And what else should be there? So there could be, suppose my application which I'm specifically building for this course would actually go about how people plan their travel. So they would post around whatever place they went to, and they would uh, put like images for best cafes, or could be best stays, captions including all of that, including, and what else should be there? There should be ratings, like let's go about, for example, there should be how's the nightlife there, how's the safety, transportation. There should be budget for it. What else should be there? There can be must carry things that we can tell people to have with them when they are going for that specific place. And yeah, I think that should do, and we would get to it later also, like if you want to add something new we could do that. So obviously this is a very self understood thing, but each user's post will pro- yep, will appear on their profile. Yep, obviously. And then there will be a tab to the explore page to see other people, and then there should be a home feed where you can see other people's posts, basically the ones you follow. So this is there, and then there should be obviously a settings section from where you could log out, update profile picture, log out, go back to user profile. What else should be there? There should be custom alert boxes, so that our app does not feel, you know it should not ideally have like the generic Apple alert box. I mean, it would look very off with the kind of UI I showed you. It should definitely have something else. And we could have handling states in case something is empty, so basically error handling or sorts. What else should be there? There should be loading bars in case we are making longer API calls, and there should be a custom font included in our app, just one font I was thinking about. And there should be, obviously we would try to rearrange the whole application, rearrange the whole app files, basically project files I meant, in a way that it's very understandable for anyone, like if someone later on joins you in adding more features, functionality to the app, or even while, like, basically working in a workspace with many other people, you need to have this sense of clarity, like where should you put what, so that others can also reference to it. That makes things easier for them as well as for you too. So these are the things I'm thinking about. And yeah, it was a quick 5 minute, 10-minute thing that you have just laid out the entire functionality of your application. And you just know how many strings, how many screens are needed for it, and like what all functionality, like it's jotted down to like literal points that what all specifically we need. And we could, as we build the app, we could add more things later on. But like, yeah, this gives us a clear understanding okay, I just have to start with the authentication feature inside the app, and what will the auth include. And obviously we are using Firebase, we know that. Then there would be the user profile creation, and then there would be many users, so they have the ability to follow each other. Then they can make posts, they can see each other's post, they can update their profile picture, and then the UI comes in. And that's how you can go about like creating your own documentation for any app you are thinking about. So it just lays out things in a much simpler way for you, and makes things like easier. So yep, we'll continue on to this. And now that we have laid this out, we'll just check out few things, like some ideas. I've seen some online websites, sites like Behance. So we can check them out and see what are the UIs present, and like if we can take some reference from there, and then like mix and match things, and we could possibly get a whole idea of the UI, like how should we go about it. So yeah, that's about it for this video. I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.